Mr. Bachchan, thank you so much for speaking to me on the BBC Asian Network.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
You know, I really like the fact that I don't know too much about the story. Just like with Doom 3, the promos were kept very short. With PK, I didn't know anything at all. And I enjoyed those films even more for that reason. Do you think we get too much as the audience before the film releases?
It's become almost mandatory to do something like this. With so many mediums of entertainment available, whether it's the television, whether it's movies, whether it's internet, whether it's mobile phones or whatever, there is that fear, I think, in the makers, whether people will actually go out and see your film. So you need to promote it as vastly as possible. Also, the time period and the attention period for a particular content or product has reduced drastically. I remember the days when we used to have 25 weeks, 50 weeks, 75-week films. That's just not happening now. It's just that first week. And within that week, you have to cover all your commercials. And therefore, it becomes imperative that you allow yourself to be involved in promoting the film, bringing attention of the film to people so that they can come in vast numbers and at least, show some kind of a effect in that very first week. It's become now a practice which many of us do not, contribute to. But I think it's essential as far as the commerce of the business is concerned, to be able to do something like this. We are here because of that.
Yeah.
I've never done something like this in the early years when we came to promote a film or talk about it. But if this is going to get that extra one or two people into the theatres, then yes, we'd happily do it.
So are we overexposed to film stars then as well? I mean, the celebrity culture is taking over Bollywood at the moment, maybe even beating Hollywood in that field. Do you think that we get too much of film stars on a promotional level outside of the screen?
Yeah. The medium has become more vocal in a sense. You walk out from here and you have 1 billion cameras following you on the mobile. So whether you like it or not, you are going to be recorded. You are going to be kept for posterity. And a lot more is known about you now through the television medium. Something or the other is always happening. Television needs content. Content is king. You know it better than I do.
Yeah.
Celebrities attract content. So there's always something about us. There is more known about a celebrity now than there was in the early years. Even if we wanted to prevent it, we would not be able to. You're walking into an airport, you get photographed. You walk out of an airport, you get photographed. There are magazines written about what dresses you wore yesterday, today, which restaurant you went to, because somebody or the other has taken a photograph of you.
And you
so if so much is already known about them, it's really quite, it's irrelevant really. If you say, there's too much happening about you. It is going to happen and you can't run away from it.
So is it a kind of, if you can't beat them, join them attitude when it comes to social media as well? Because you're so present on Facebook, Twitter and your blog. You're giving us even more of yourself.
Yeah, I don't think that that was what my thinking was when I started the social media. I just felt it was a wonderful medium to connect with well-wishers who never had an opportunity earlier on. And now that they do, yes, I would like to talk to them as I'm sitting here talking to me and answering your questions. I get wonderful responses from my people. Earlier on, you just knew perhaps that there were X number of fans. But now actually I have a name and a face, an address, a comment, their viewpoint, their mind, what they think about me, what they think about my work. And that's wonderful to know.
A young star like Ranbir Kapoor, he says that he doesn't want to join Twitter because it will take away the elusiveness of a star. Yeah. And that only really exists in Bollywood. Do you think social media does take away that sort of aura of being a celebrity?
I think I would admire somebody like Ranbir Kapoor for being able to resist that. And I would grant him the liberty of wanting to remain elusive and exclusive because, yes, of course, a certain amount of enigma about an artist or a celebrity is always more attractive. Unfortunately, I'm not as intelligent as he is, so I have succumbed to the factor of sharing whatever I do And sure enough, it's a personal attitude, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, I'm now in my 73rd year, and how much more of an enigma am I going to be, or an elusive factor am I going to be? So it's got to do something with the number of years that I've been there, the number of years that I have spent in the industry. Almost everything is already known. So yeah, I don't mind sharing it.
So personally for you, has the meaning of stardom changed over the years?
I don't know what stardom actually means. I'd like to understand what that means. I've never looked upon it that way. I've looked upon my work, and I've looked upon the fact of whether there are people who have acknowledged it, criticized it, given me suggestions. That's more important to me.
So I came across a quote which really, really intrigued me. It was in 2000 that you gave this quote where you said, there were no films, no money, no company, a million legal cases against, and the tax authorities had put notice of recovery on my home. I would never expect Mr. Bachchan to come out, even if that was happening in your life, to come out and speak about it. Recently, Deepika Padukone came out and spoke about suffering from depression. How hard was it to speak the truth at that time?
If you're speaking the truth, it's not hard. It's the best thing possible. I don't mind talking about it. Yeah, it's something that happened, and there were circumstances which were beyond me to take care of. When people ask me a question, what you felt, then I have to say what the truth was, and that was what the truth is. If Deepika is talking about her ailment, which is again a very brave thought, I think it's more to benefit society. I do various campaigns which are related to health. I did the polio campaign for United Nations, and we worked for 8 years, and finally India is now polio-free. I'm working now on tuberculosis. I'm working on hepatitis. I work for diabetes from a campaign that began in London through the Right Honourable Keith Vaz, Member of Parliament. I think it's important to create awareness, because sometimes when a particular face or a voice expresses it, perhaps people pay more attention to it. We had research done on the polio campaign, and that's what the feedback that we got. I talked about, I took up the campaign of tuberculosis because I myself was a victim of tuberculosis, so not so very long ago. And the reason for that was because many think that tuberculosis is something that does not happen to, and I'm really embarrassed to say this, it does not happen to people who are living in affluent circumstances. It happens mostly to people who live in either the slums or areas which are not clean enough. But I just wanted to say that it is something that can afflict anyone. And there is a cure for it. And I went through an entire course, and I got cured. I've also taken up the matter of hepatitis, because during my 82 accident, there was large amounts of blood transfusion that happened, and there was an infected donor, and I did contract hepatitis, and I'm still under its effect. It has damaged my liver, but I'm not, an alcoholic. I don't drink things which are normally associated with, say, a cirrhosis of liver. But I'm in that condition, and I want to talk about it because I want to make people aware that, this is the care that you need to take and not be a victim of it, and to come out of it. And there are people who, well, as an example, who still survive and are purely functional and in a wonderful way.